Good morning, everyone. Shalom, brothers and sisters. So, today I felt like it will be important if I try to talk about some things. So, most of Black Americans or African Americans who are coming to Africa, they always have a couple of challenges, and most of them have tried share them with us. So I got a compilation of African Americans, and most of them, you know them, they have come to Africa and they have their personal challenges that they had, and the following are the complaints that they gave. And this compilation include personal experiences which cut across not even personal experiences but that challenge or complaint that I had which passed across all of them. So if you hear me talking about a given complaint that one of African Americans all said, know that it passes across all those visitors or African American who have come to Africa. So the purpose of this video is to prepare you mentally, to tell you that Africa, do not romanticize Africa in your mind, and be ready, be open-minded, because most of the people who also came, they had some expectations and things never went the way they planned. But all this doesn't mean that Africa isn't a good place. Africa still remains the best place for you. I mean, compared to the United States and everything which is happening there. So purposely this video is for learning. If we can learn from the complaints that our brothers are giving, it can make us remain vigilant in the face of the troubles that we might be facing. It's raining outside, that's why you're hearing that sound. So tell me the complaints. Maybe you're watching this video for the first time. Tell me any complaint that you've ever found while you come to Africa, regardless of the country that you visited. So the first complaint which cut across all these African Americans, and most of them, they have the YouTube channel, so that's where I sourced the information. So number one thing is the first complaint that I had them was adjusting to the culture. It's more of the challenges that they face. So you find that they move from the United States with a different culture, and you know that enthusiasm of going to a different country, you want to learn a new culture, and then you reach to that place, you find it so hard to you to cope up, dressing code, people's etiquette, the way people address each other, and other social things. So they find it so difficult, and this is because of different lifestyles which are from the United States or any other part of European countries where they came from to Africa. So coping up with African culture, it's not easy, and it requires you to be vigilant. It requires you to be patient. Yeah, mostly it requires you to be patient. So all I can tell anybody who is planning to come to Africa, kindly be patient with the African culture, and with time you will love it. You will love it there, and you'll say that it was worth knowing this culture, because I know the transition is not easy. And you have to cope up with that. Number two thing, which was not most, but it cuts across majority of them, is some parts of Africa, mostly the places where they visited, because not all Africa is suffering from this. Some parts of Africa where they visited, they are facing problems with infrastructural issues. For example, they have problems with power outages. And one thing I want to tell you is that in Africa, this is true, in Africa, sometimes you just have to charge your phone, let it be 100%, because the powers can go anytime. And it's normal. Sometimes there are power maintenance. For example, in Kenya, power doesn't go off often, especially where I am. I can say that 98% I do have electricity in the house, but some places in Africa, and I totally understand this because I'm also in Africa, power do go, and maybe there's no communication about that. But for Kenya, what I know about Kenya is that we have our Kenya Power and Lighting Company, which communicates to its people through their Twitter page, Facebook page, Instagram page. So for example, if you live in given areas, they will inform you 24 hours earlier before the power goes, and it's upon you to follow up with that. So if you haven't charged your phone, you need to charge your phone. Now I'm talking about those African Americans who have come to Africa, especially in places where they face problems with power, electricity, because it goes off, and this is something which they're not used to, and sometimes their job relies on it. Sometimes they totally depend on electricity because it's 21st century. Almost everyone uses electricity in doing everything. So in this case, you are told to have alternative sources of power. You can have your generator. When things go off, just switch it on and continue with your work. Alternatively, we have solar, which generate power in form of electricity, and then use it. I don't want to talk about places where in Africa, countries where they have power shortages, but it's generally a challenge which is in Africa, and with time we are still addressing these issues, and the rate of power outage in Africa is reducing with time. So that's the good part of it, because a lot of people, everything is going online and people are using electricity so much. So this is something which it's being looked into. So another thing which also they complain about, it's still in the infrastructure part. People complain that there is no running water in Africa. Some places, again, not all parts of Africa. And if it's in a given specific part of country, it's again not places. In Africa, especially in cities, we have what is called water rationing. So for example, water comes, for example where I stay, the water comes thrice in a week. So what does this mean? This means that when you have the running water, I mean you can open the tap and water flows, you can save water. You can have tanks, you can have jerry cans and all other places where you can store water. Please kindly have enough things to store water in your house so that you don't have these problems, because we have water rationing, especially in the cities, and we have different estates where people have to receive water in these days, people have to receive water in these days, and people have to receive water in these days. That's why you see some places people walking outside with jerry can in the cities. It's because they didn't have a lot of things to store water, or the water never came. It's simple as such. So to avoid such kind of problems, you just save your water as early as possible and use the water when it's available. So when you go to your tap and fail to see a running water, well, in the United States you used to have a running water 24/7. Now that's what makes the difference, and I hope this message helps. All I can tell you, when you come to Africa, come as a soldier. You have to survive. Africa is not paradise. It's beautiful, yes, and it's your home. You have all the purpose to come to Africa to trace your roots. But again, be patient with everything which is happening around you. That's what I'm gonna tell you. And everything I'm telling you from here is from the experiences from all these people that you've watched their YouTube channels. Most of them are African Americans and they are content creators, and they have told you this. And so this is a compilation of everything that they have been facing, while in Africa, regardless of which country they are. It can be Botswana, it can be Kenya, it can be Tanzania, it can be Ghana, it can be different parts of Africa. So that's another thing in which they struggle with. Again, on the infrastructure again, we have roads, but thank God the African government is addressing these issues. So for the roads, a couple of them also complained about roads. So they say that roads, poor roads, the car will dance with you, and you can even puke on where you're traveling to. But again, this is not in every part of Africa, and the remaining small African countries which are still undergoing this, the government is working so hard to address these issues, and the government is addressing these issues. So I'll advise you, if you're not used to such kind of problem, and maybe you're a person who will want to travel, want to know places, you can have alternatives. You can get a motorbike, you can have your own bicycle, so that if you're having problem with roads, you can use alternative roads using these bicycles or motorbikes to explore or reach the places that you want to go. Yeah, I think that's really fair enough. Yes, so that's another thing that you need to look into, and it's a complaint that they have. Another complaint that I've also heard from them is, I'll tell you this as a matter of fact, Africa has a lot of generic things. This is because of Chinese influence in Africa. That's what I'd say, because people prefer buying, cheaper electronic gadgets, for example, cheaper television, cheaper smartphones, and it is Chinese that produces these, these generic products. For example, there is Samsung, which is an original Samsung, which is made in Japan. Made in Japan, the original Samsung made in Japan, and a generic Samsung made in China. So you can't know the difference. So when you buy something in Africa and it gets spoiled to you, they complain that we don't have quality things. In Africa there are quality things, but again, due to economic crisis in Africa, people always resort to generic products which are cheaper, and as a result, it causes an influx in generic products which are not quality original products. They are just substitute to help people who can't buy original products or quality products. And as I've said, this is because of the economic problems that Africa face. Majority of Africans don't have money. When they have other things that they take care of, and they don't want to spend much money in such kind of things. So back in the United States, you're used to getting original things and quality things, right? So when you come to Africa, for you to get an original thing, they complain that you have to look and look. Take you some time to find something simple, and sometimes I agree. But again, we Africans, we are the mother of natural resources, so we are also producing quality things. It's just a matter of you appreciating our products. And if you come across those generic products, just understand that it's not the liking of Africans, it's because of their economy. But if you're patient, again, if you know someone, they can get you an original thing. So my advice to you is this: if you want a product while in Africa and you have doubts, get to know someone who knows someone that can get you the original thing. It's always hard to, produce content when living in an apartment where we have children and it's on a holiday. Yeah, sometimes they just blast off with, noise, but what are you gonna do? you're just gonna listen to them. So, as I was saying, get someone who can get you these quality things. Do your own research, go online and find somebody who can get you do this done. In touch with that, there is a complaint also, getting someone to get you something done, getting someone to fix you something and make it happen. Now this one mostly is on personal experiences of some of a couple of them. It's their personal experience and not okay. Not all Africans are bad people, and not everyone will scam you. Not everyone will lie to you and not fix your product the way you want. So a couple of them have fallen into the hands of those Africans who I can say are opportunistic, who I can say that are maybe greedy, but doesn't mean that all Africans are bad people. Just get the right person to fix you a thing. You know, a person can be an expert, but they'll fix you something and you won't be satisfied with it. I know, even for we Africans, you call somebody to fix you something, and after they have gone, it have spoiled. You know, so this is a challenge not only for you, but also we as Africans who are living in this place. We also face the same problem. So what am I telling you? I'm telling you this. If you know someone who knows someone who can get you something, get it done. Use that person. And take your time to understand that person. Start by giving them small tasks. If they complete it successfully, try them with higher, tasks. Don't just get a person and because they tell you that they know something, they gotta fix it. You have to evaluate them first, and try to take some reviews from people or they have also offered their services too. You understand that? So that's one thing you also need to take note of. Some people also complain that it is hard to develop authentic relationships. Yeah, this is a point where we need to talk about developing authentic relationships. The locals have power, a lot of power, because they can be your friend, they can be your worst enemy and make your life terrible in Africa, the locals. So African Americans are struggling with, having the authentic relationship. Because this specifically mostly when they come, people see them that they have money, you understand? So it's easier to know who is a friend. Is this person with me because they believe that I have something I can offer to them, and that's a challenge, But one thing I'll tell you is this. We human beings are social animals, and detecting a person who is there as a friend and detecting a person who is there because they can get an opportunity, it's easier to know. And make mistakes, befriend them, learn, and with time you'll find someone who is truthful to you, because I know it's really hard. You are from the United States, you've left 99% of your friends back there. You are here starting afresh. Maybe you don't know anybody, or maybe you know 5 people, and maybe they're just YouTubers like you and I. Means that you don't have a lot of friends. And as I said, human beings are social animals. You have to want to interact with a person. At least somebody who checks on you, somebody who says, "Yo bro, are you good?" Yeah, something like that. But you don't know, because everyone that comes across you, they might want something. They talk to you today, the next day, they want something from you. They want money from you. They keep on texting you. You help them. Of course, helping a person is not a bad thing, but understand to which magnitude are these people leveling your friendship. That's one thing you need to understand. And My last advice I can only give is, let's not romanticize Africa, because that's where the problem begins. In my country, Kenya, most of people speak English, especially in the cities, and that's not a challenge because it's easier for you to come to Kenya and settle because it's a metropolitan. Our city, Nairobi. So don't romanticize Africa. You come here, you're coming to your home. You see, when you go to your home, you accept it the way it is because it is your home and you have to fight for it. It's not an easy journey being in Africa, especially when you haven't been in Africa. But you understand the reason as to why with time people who come to Africa want to stay forever. It's because they have adapted and they are in their best mode. And now they have won that African court and they are Africans. So coming to Africa, it's something which it's important to you if you want to, get to reconnect with your roots, as I've always been telling you. But be ready because this is what you need to expect. And some other challenges. There are a couple of challenges, but you see these challenges that I've said, they cut across all those African Americans that have visited Africa, regardless of their country. Yes. So this is Eugene, the African kid, and tell me what you think in the comment section. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.